It's spooktacular, and I got a spooktacular interview. This is a terrible song. Hi, everybody. I'm Alex. This is Sideshow, the pop culture and collectibles company, and we're here celebrating spooktacular. Despite me singing that terrible song and doing that dance, I hope you're still sticking around because in a few moments I have a pretty awesome interview going. So here we go. Let me just take care of the stuff at the front. Spooktacular has been going on this whole week. It is continuing straight through Halloween. Make sure you are registered at side.show/spooktacular so you can register. If you haven't registered already, get those $10 in rewards, discounts, reward opportunities, contests, giveaways. That's a word you're going to want to pay attention to for this stream. And of course, you know what, Rob, bring up that code, that discount code. This is something else you're going to want to know about. The promo code Spooky22 for 13% off of 30% off of what? Who even knows? So much stuff, everything, blah, blah, blah. You know what to do. And then one last thing, super producer Rob, side.show/deals. That's where all our daily deals are going on. So pay attention to that. Now that I've gotten that out of the way, now that you've all liked, commented, subscribed, hit that notification bell, I want to introduce you all to the artist who, by the way, the fact that 2 versions of this printer are already sold out, that you must know him already. This is Jason Edmiston. Get him up here. Boom. What is going on?
How are you, Alex? Nice to see you.
Nice to see you too. I mean, we're here. It is a nice spooky Thursday. We're in that season, so it's glad to have you here because we're going to be talking art and horror and everything.
My favorite season.
Your favorite season. So, for people who may not be familiar with you, Jason.
Yes.
Take us through the cliff notes of your art journey. Like you're 5 years old, you're 1 year old, you're already painting massive oil paintings. But how did you get to there?
I knew I wanted to be an artist since I was 4, honestly. It was something I had some natural ability at, and it was the thing that set me out from the other kids. Some kids were into sports or singing or whatever, but art was my thing that always made me special. So I just kind of always found enjoyment from doing that. So I drew all the time and was able to draw Garfield from memory and
Nice.
all kinds of cartoon characters and robots and G.I. Joe and stuff like that when I was young. And I knew that I wanted to be a professional artist as soon as they started asking questions at school, like, what do you want to do for a living? Fireman, teacher, accountant, all those kids want to be accountants, right? And I just always knew I wanted to be an artist. So I just kept practicing, buying comic books and Mad magazines and poring over, toy packaging, the G.I. Joe packaging and Transformers and stuff like that when I was young. And I thought, man, you can actually make a living doing this as an adult. You don't have to have a real job. You can do some fun stuff. So I just put all my eggs into that basket and just went forward for that. Every year I'd take as many art classes as I could in school and went to art college eventually.
Yeah.
Long and short of it is I went to Ontario College of Art in Toronto, which is now OCAD, or Ontario College of Art and Design. It's now a university, but it was an art college when I went there. And when I got out of school, I started doing freelance jobs for local newspapers and magazines and national newspapers and magazines, a few American products, but mainly Canadian and Toronto newspapers, spot illustrations, covers for magazines, that sort of thing, editorial and advertising illustration. I did that for about 10 years, all hand painted stuff because of my age. When I graduated art college, digital art was just in its infancy.
I was going to say that's like the beginning, right?
Yeah, that was kind of the cusp. Like if I went to school 5 years later, I would have probably just been a digital artist, but I had a little bit of digital art background, but mostly hand painted acrylic paintings, actually, not oil. A lot of people think
I know I was trying to make a joke about oil paintings, but then I forget it's acrylic. Acrylic.
Yeah, that's right. And that's basically the majority of my of my work is hand painted acrylic, but I also do paint in Photoshop for some posters or to accentuate certain art for screen printing, that sort of thing.
Oh yeah.
I do movie posters for Mondo and other companies. So I need to be able to separate my paintings digitally so that they can print them for screen printing. Right? Yeah, one layer at a time, one color at a time.
That's the stressful part for me about Mondo stuff, is just thinking about how they produce them. Just all the black, all the orange.
Yeah.
You got to do it in the right order, or else you ruined it.
Absolutely, right order and just the right amount, and they all got to line up. But yeah, I did editorial and advertising illustration in Canada for about 10 years, and thanks, Tim. And it was not as fulfilling as I had hoped. And it was also kind of a dying medium because the newspapers were getting smaller and smaller, and magazine budgets were going down, and there were always new illustrators coming out of art school. So there was just less work to be had, and it wasn't that fulfilling creatively. So I really wanted to get into pop culture art. So I started going to comic conventions and literally walking around from booth to booth with my portfolio, and showed anybody that would look at my art. From actually, I showed you guys way back in the day. And this is before you were really into art prints. I was mainly trying to get work, maybe doing conceptual stuff or packaging art. But even that was kind of not as prevalent as it is now.
Someone actually asked about that, so I want to circle back around.
Yeah, sure. Yeah.
Thing. But
yeah, jump in with whatever.
Well, there's someone who's asking. Guy Klender asked, who is a big collector.
Mm-hmm.
Is there a character or product from Sideshow that you would love to do the box art for? Which is why I'm like, let's circle back.
Oh yeah. Honestly, anything horror related, that's kind of my wheelhouse. I like superhero stuff as well, but anything horror related. I've done a few box art, packaging art for toys, and I have done a Texas Chainsaw package before for 3-0 actually. So you guys distributed it, but it wasn't directly for you guys. But I'd like to do more of that, Freddie or Jason or anything like that. That'd be rad. But I think sometimes you guys use photography, and then it's like a mix. Sometimes it's illustrated, or it's got some graphic design elements as well. But that'd be a lot of fun. Normally my toy packaging is for the smaller toys, stuff like 3 3/4-inch figures for Super 7, or I've done a lot of the 5-inch figures for NECA, that sort of thing.
Wait a minute. So hold on. So Super 7, who we distribute a lot of their stuff, but you're talking about like the reaction figures, right?
Yeah, a lot of the reaction figures. Not as many as Ed Repka, who does a ton of action figure packaging. But yeah, I do quite a bit.
Yeah, because those are the ones that I buy them, and I'm like, I can't open this. Like, they make the joke, like you have to keep one for value and one for opening. But me, it's not the value. It's the fact that the art.
Well, that's always my goal, because I love the art of the old G.I. Joe packaging. It just, that big explosion, and they were all hand illustrated. And I love that growing up so much. I needed to see if there was that sort of job in the future. And I actually got that job. I do most of the 3 3/4-inch reaction figure packaging art for Super 7 now, and before that I did all the Master of the Universe art. But I've done some other ones too, some RoboCop and They Live and stuff like that. Ed Repka does a lot. He does all the Universal Monsters stuff, all the music, the Megadeth and Iron Maiden stuff, all the worst, the brand of the worst, tons of stuff. But it's a lot of fun. That's when to go back to what I was saying before about going to Comic-Con. It's a full circle. So I just went 10 years ago. I went, or even 12, whatever. I went around booth to booth at Comic-Con and just showed all the companies my portfolio, and I got hired by Hasbro, and then by NECA and Super 7, and eventually you guys and Mondo, and now that's all I do is just pop culture art. So I have two careers. This is my second half of my career is all pop culture art.
Yeah, and I'm glad we ended up at this part of your career.
Absolutely.
Now I get the benefit. Oh wait, I just got a question. Another one. Mandy Me, because we're going to eventually want to talk about horror, right?
Sure. Yeah, whatever you want.
is asking you because I want to bring up your print so that people know that they got to run and get it before it sells out. But Mandy B wants to know: do you have a go-to horror movie that you have to watch every Halloween?
I usually watch Halloween every Halloween. And actually, I just saw the newest movie, which I really enjoyed. And uh, what else do I watch every That's the one that comes up every year. Maybe Nightmare on Elm Street or uh, Shining.
Shining.
But yeah, I honestly I like variety. So I've seen those movies so many times. I don't necessarily have an annual movie that I watch every year, but I definitely watch as many as I can see. I just saw Barbarian in the theater, which was
I was
wild
going to
because
ask
I had
you
no idea. Yeah.
because
Have you
I
seen
just
it?
watched it. It just hit HBO Max
Right.
2 days ago, and I watched it like immediately. I was like, I've been hearing nothing but that movie is crazy.
It's crazy. You don't know where it's going to go.
No,
They fake you out a bunch of times. Wow, I did not know they were going to go that way. It's got
left
a
and
bunch
right.
of almost reboots when they tell the story.
Yeah, I was like, wait a minute, what just happened? Yeah, that movie was bananas.
Yeah, that was
Well,
crazy. I just saw
yeah,
Prey on is it well, I
Hulu.
didn't see it on Hulu. I saw it once it went to, I guess, Prime or whatever, one of the other
Yeah.
streaming services. But oh, I guess it was Disney. I guess I saw it on Disney
All right, yeah,
Plus.
Disney Plus
Yeah,
also had it for a little
yeah,
bit.
they
Yeah,
distributed it afterward. I loved Prey. I want to do some art for that. It was great. The
yeah,
action scenes were amazing. There was two real big action scenes in the last third of the movie that were just incredibly choreographed that I loved. So I'd love to do
yeah.
something for Prey at some point.
Yeah, I very much support you because like, you get so many there was so many movies in these franchises and like then it starts to water it down. Prey was so refreshing. So
Yes,
to like come back from that was really great. Man, a lot of
absolutely.
people are just shouting out again, horror is one of the biggest things. People are like, horror, horror, horror. Someone's asking, oh, have you seen your Halloween pinball game? You did a Halloween pinball game?
Yeah, I recently got a copy or a unit. I'm not sure what a machine, and it's installed in my house and all set up. I love it. It plays great. I did all the artwork for it, so I like
Yeah.
aesthetically. It's like a big three-dimensional version of my portfolio. So it's really cool. That was a labor of love. I think 5 months
Yeah.
altogether from start to finish. That was a lot of fun.
That is awesome. And you got one in your house. So
Yeah, yeah,
and
yeah. I played all the time.
and another person, by the way, who I'm interviewing tomorrow is asking, when did you get glasses?
Oh.
Hashtag cease and desist. Timothy Pacitas is coming after you already.
He has no copyright on glasses.
Yeah.
A few years ago, I just couldn't. I used to be able to see atoms forming, as I joke on, on the paper that I was working on. I could see the fibers of the paper, and then everything started to get softer and softer, and I just had to get glasses for my work. So it's really is just for detail and reading and everything. But
You
I
hear that, Tim?
noticed, yeah, I
Now
noticed
you got to
people
come
do.
to Tim's interview and break his chops.
That's right. I notice people do comment um, on the detail in my work has gotten higher, and I think it's just because now I can see.
Yeah.
Everything was getting really soft for a while there, but yeah,
Yeah.
I like seeing my art in focus now.
Yeah. Perfect. I mean, yeah, you couldn't see. You're like, wow, I drew that. That's
Right.
amazing. So speaking of your art, Rob, bring up the print. Bring up the print, the Texas Chainsaw Massacre print. So right now, the unframed version is the only one left in stock. The framed version, which was beautiful, you could show, and you can go to side.show/Edmiston to show it off. Show off the ones that they missed. Look at this one, the framed print with that beautiful gold, and this one, the framed canvas, gone. So you only have the opportunity to order this one, the unframed version. But remember that code, the spooky 22, you can get it for 13% off, which is fun because hey, it's spooky time. But let's talk about this print a little bit.
Yeah.
So we don't this is a really different. Why'd you get rid of it, Rob? I'm still talking about it. Sheesh, Rob. Let's talk about what you did with it. Like, were you watching the movie while you were painting this? I
Oh
need to
man,
know the choices you made because this is
I'm
in full color, by the
no,
way, which is a big deal.
I'm very familiar with this movie. I've done I don't know, 3 posters and some packaging art for toys and some t-shirt designs. I've done every iteration of art for this property. I've seen this movie hundreds of times, and I've literally watched every single frame because I freeze frame the entire movie when, at, in my history of trying to
I was
get
going to say that would take you a long time.
it would. But you're trying to get as much reference as you can, and there's only so much that's been pulled out of there for Google image searches or for behind the scenes press photos and stuff like that. Especially the movie's so old, but this image in particular is one of the most famous images of Leatherface, and it's always shown in grainy black and white. It's like a very famous black and white promo photo because actually that scene, the how the photo is shown if you search this image through Google and see where the reference came from, it's really like a press photo or behind the scenes photo or a alternate take or something, because that screen grab is not really in the movie. But the scene is obviously, but he's further back and he's in motion and everything. It's obviously in color because of the movie. But the reference that I based it on was that famous black and white photo that's been used for posters and T-shirts and any kind of promotion. Yeah, and I always wanted to see somebody render that fully out, almost like a high-res upgraded color version of it. And also, it's hard to get a good shot of the house without the trees obscuring it too much. So it was my goal to show basically a beauty shot, as I call it, or a hero shot, everyone call it, anti-hero shot of Leatherface running in the final scene of the movie, or near the final scene of the movie, with a nice clear shot of the house and his uncle's or father's truck. I'm not quite sure.
I think it was the uncle.
From the gas station. I'm not quite sure about the whole family relationship, but I guess it is. Yes, the uncle. And also with the windmill in the back and everything. Basically, I wanted to show all the, no pun intended, the meat of that scene. And really
have a windmill. We already got a comment on it.
Yeah, and also I hadn't done a lot of art based around the what's known as the Pretty Woman mask, which is the final mask in the movie. And I love it because it's got the makeup on it and everything, and it just looks really wild compared to the more blank tan leather one from earlier in the movie. And I really wanted to make it look like the movie does, like hot and sweaty and that sun-drenched kind of vibe. Yeah, that Texas heat. So that was my vibe going through, and I think I achieved what I had in my head, because you have this vision you have in your head, and they don't always come out that way, but this one came as close as any of my paintings. I think I'm really proud of this one.
You should be, because I cannot tell if it was the vision you had in your head, obviously not being in your head, but this is a really impactful piece, and bringing it again, making it in color and adding all those little details. Even someone was saying the smoke, the exhaust from the chainsaw, like really brings the whole thing together.
Right. And it's just a little bit of cool, if you notice, just from an art point of view, because the palette is more orange and more yellows and stuff like that. Everything is kind of tinted that way, but the smoke is a little bit blue. So it makes everything look that much more warm. It doesn't just look like, oh, you just happen to print it out kind of sepia. It's a choice. It makes it look like it's a purposeful choice that you're going that direction with the colors. So that was kind of the little, flair at the end.
Yeah. And it like they were saying in the comments, it actually works. And a lot of people are not talking about the Texas heat, including Tim, who lives in Texas. Yes, we know, Tim, it is very hot where you are. So before I take this off the screen, at some point during the stream, towards the end, we're going to do this. We're going to be giving away a printer proof. Thanks to Jason for providing us with a printer proof of this, which you cannot buy a printer proof. So if you don't win it, I would highly suggest picking it up, side.show/Edmiston, because it is almost sold out, and all the other versions are sold out. So you're going to want to jump on.
And all my copies are sold out too.
All of his APs are sold out. So this is, you got either the ones on the site or the printer proof that we will be giving away a little bit later. But let's put this away. Let's put this away. There we go.
Thank you, Rob.
And thank you. Super producer Rob is killing it backstage. He is tired because he was up all night. I want to talk about a little sneaky. So now you concentrate mostly on horror, which people have been asking about, like what is horror the thing that like drives you in art, right? It's like is that your favorite?
It's definitely the most interesting for me because I'm a real fan of illustrating textures and character design and stuff like that. And horror needs to have the most range as far as that goes. That and sci-fi. So those are my two genres that I really love the most. A big fan of Star Wars and all the creature design from that. That's a huge thing for me. But horror, yeah, just the mood of it. I love. I'm also a fan of special effects gore. Like I don't really like real gore. Like I can't see real blood or
That's the same with me.
yeah, I can't see ER and all that stuff. But when I know it's something that's created to look like it, it's almost like, well, how can you recreate reality, but with food coloring and silicone and all this stuff. So that's what I really like. I like the artistry behind the gore. So I would love, the old Fangoria magazines and seeing, heads chopped off and stuff. I mean, man, that looks so real, but I know it's not real. It's not not like, oh, I'm traumatized because I think it's actually violence. I am traumatized by real violence though.
Same. Isn't that funny? Like I could sit there and I play like Assassin's Creed Valhalla and just axe after axe after, totally fine. But if someone's like, oh, look at this video of this car accident, I'm like, no, I can't see it.
No,
I don't want to watch it.
Nope. No, not at all.
Or as I was telling Juan Ramos the other day, I did an interview with him. I was like, I can't watch people shucking oysters. I'm like, no, God, that's terrifying.
Absolutely.
Hard. That's hard.
That's right. Yeah, yeah. So I would say horror is probably my biggest interest as far as what I want to spend my time painting. But I have a lot of interest though. Sci-fi being another big one for me.
I mean, I could see from behind you collect a lot too.
I do. Yeah. Sorry for the messy
collectors.
Yeah. This is just a sampling of the. Here I have I can show you. Well, I have a little Johnny Lawrence.
Oh, nice.
And okay, Johnny can lie down. And then I think this is one of yours, is it not?
My personal collection.
No, one that you guys put out. Is this not one of yours? Yes.
Yes.
So I do walk the walk as well. But I have quite a collection of the 12-inch Sideshow figures. They're mainly horror. I have a few superhero things as well. I have some Batman and Joker things, but mainly horror. That's my big. I also have your big. What is it? Is it like 16-inch tall Michael Myers statue that you guys put out?
Is it the?
He's on the base. Yes.
With the relief going around.
Yes, that's the one.
Yeah. That's a premium collectible studio.
Yeah, that one.
We distribute that.
Yeah. Oh, you distribute it. Okay.
Bring it on over. But we actually, by the way, for everyone who's watching, if you join our Facebook group, we have a giveaway going on for that black and white version. Yeah, ooh. They made the silver screen version in black and white. It was pretty great.
That's cool.
So now, speaking of Batman and the Joker, thank you for that segue. You're working on another piece with us.
I am.
And this is really exciting. We were given permission to tease it. Rob, bring this up. Boom. This is the Joker. This is the the Brian Bolland tribute.
Yeah, that image is perhaps my favorite comic book image from my childhood. The panel at the end of the page in the middle of The Killing Joke, where Joker's in the rain and he's laughing maniacally. I always wanted to do a kind of a three-dimensional version of that piece by Brian, and I pitched it to you guys, and you were interested. So that is my next piece that I'm currently working on. The text has been changed just a hair in some areas, but that's essentially what it'll look like. It's the same shot. It's honoring Brian's piece pretty closely, but I also took some photo reference of a model with lighting to match and tried to get all the folds in the clothing correct and the wrinkles in the skin and the gloves, the tension in the gloves and stuff like that. And then I envisioned the lettering to be kind of like almost like floating, glowing letters, almost like floating neon letters in the sky, just to kind of make it a little bit more chaotic. Like you never watch movies, Viva Las Vegas or whatever, and they have all these signs like, Circus Circus and the Sands, and it's all coming towards you and all kind of overlapping as neon letters. That's the goal. So it'll have a little bit of that
Sorry.
vibe, and then it'll be obviously, kind of at dusk or at early night, with the rain coming down. He'll be dripping wet and everything. So I'm working on that now. That's another fun piece. Really
And
colorful.
the cool thing about it is because it's one of the most recognizable pieces, right? It's one of the most recognizable situations. On top of that, I cannot wait to see the way you paint it and give it that photorealism. And the neon, you didn't even tell me beforehand about the neon. Now you didn't warn me that you're going for neon with that. I am
Trying. Yeah, trying.
ridiculously excited about that.
Yeah, it will be hand painted, so it's going to have it'll have a hand painted look to it. It won't look like that digital, like Stanley Lau kind of super. It won't kind of give that vibe necessarily. It'll still look like my work, but I'm going for that kind of surreal, kind of glowing letter, overlapping glowing letter kind of effect. So that's going to take a little while to dial in, but that's the goal. So wish me luck.
That is the goal. Well, thank you for letting us show that off, and thank you,
Yeah, absolutely.
to Gracie for getting me the permission to show that off, because I've been wanting to talk about it, and it's like I couldn't. And when she said we could talk about it, I was like, yes.
Oh, good. Well, I'm glad. Yeah, I'm excited about it.
Yeah,
it's gonna be fun.
Score. It was such a score. So with that, I just want to really quickly set up this giveaway for everyone in the audience, especially everyone who's been liking, commenting, and subscribing, and hitting notification bells. Let's set up this give. Rob, show them what they're playing for. Once again, the Texas Chainsaw Massacre piece. Boom. This is the Butcher himself. So what you're going to do is in the comments below, thank you for taking that off. In the comments below, you can do hashtag Butcher I agree. And you're going to put that in as a comment. And what you're agreeing to is the terms and conditions, side.show/contest. No offense, Jason, but this giveaway is unfortunately US only, contiguous to US.
That's all right.
It's US only giveaway.
I did keep one copy for myself, so that's okay.
Right. So I'm sorry that we can't send it to Canada to you, but just enter just like this, just like Johnny Saucedo did right here. Everyone, by the way, has been either asking a lot of questions or commenting a lot, like one that says your Joker will go really great. They're going to buy it for sure. Let's see. The typography. I wanted to see one of the questions. What is your favorite? This is from Kirk Michael Animations. What is your favorite horror movie theme? There's his Hellraiser. Now, they're also, by the way, either Canadian or European, but I could tell by the way they spelled favorite, which is the best way to spell
it. That's right. Well, these are probably the most obvious and boring answers, but I got to say the original Halloween theme by John Carpenter, it always gets me. And Tubular Bells from The Exorcist are Tubular Bells, right? I believe that's the title of that song. Those are my two favorite themes. They just kind of, I guess because I heard them both when I was young, and they just stuck in my head, and I just think of scary horror and spookiness when I hear them. But I mean, they played a little bit of it in the new Halloween Ends, and it got me. I wish there was a little bit more classic synth in Ends. I mean, there is a lot of classic style synth, but almost a few more references to the first movie. I could have dealt with a little bit more, retro in the soundtrack, but that's probably my all-time favorite.
John Carpenter, as a filmmaker, untouchable, but as a musician, right? Like, next level. And really, do you listen to the band Churches?
No, I don't.
They're like they're from Scotland. They're like synth and pop and whatever. But one thing that they did was they did a version of it. They worked with John Carpenter to put out a song together.
Oh, cool. Okay,
it was pretty well.
I'm gonna add that to my list. I didn't know about them. Do you know Carpenter Brute?
Yes.
Oh, okay. Because they take a lot of cues from John Carpenter's music, but they kind of make it a little bit more poppy and up tempo dance synth. So I really love.
Only recently heard about them.
Yeah, they're great. They're really good, and I imagine their live shows would be great. I've heard their live performances, and they sound like they'd be wild to actually be there in person, and the crowd gets way into it. They did a live version of Maniac, the classic, the from You know, from what's that movie called? The dancing movie.
She's a
She's a
maniac,
maniac.
right?
Yeah.
What the heck is it?
Whatever movie that was, but
Flashdance.
Flashdance. Yeah, there you go.
Flashdance.
Good,
I was like,
good
wait a
pull.
minute, is
Good
it?
pull. Yeah, they did a
Yeah.
version of that, which is awesome. So you got to check that out. I'm sure Spotify.
We got one more question before we run this giveaway because we do have a winner probably. Rob, are you running that? Or Rob's going to be running it on the background. Lance Melnick asked, "Have you done any collaboration pieces, or is there anyone you would like to do a collaboration piece with?" Basically, they're asking you to,
Yeah. Yes
is there
and yes.
anyone you want to
Well,
do a piece?
I guess the Brian Boland is kind of a collaboration, although he didn't have anything to do with it. So I hope he doesn't hate what I put out. But I have done collaborations before with Jock. I did a Judge Dredd piece with his permission. I based it on one of his famous Judge Dredd from 2000 AD, 2000, 20,000. I always forget
2000
that.
AD.
2000.
Yeah.
So I did a collaboration with him. I also did a couple collaborations with Mike Mitchell on his Just Like Us series. I did one based on his RoboCop character design and also his Ewok design. So I approached them and said, "Hey, I'd love to do a painted version of your your art," and because those guys also have very graphic styles, very different than mine. I think collaborations like that or kind of homages like that work the best when the styles are very different from each other, because then you really notice what the other artist brought to it. So I like to, it's almost like you're skinning it with my technique, right? As far as somebody that I haven't worked with yet that I'd love to, I recently did a Bernie Wrightson, a posthumous Bernie Wrightson collaboration for his coloring book.
I have that coloring book.
Yeah. So I
I'm
painted the
terrible at coloring, so
Frankenstein.
I'm going to send it to you instead. Please fill it out for me.
Yeah. I did a fully painted version of his Frankenstein page. But who else would I? Somebody that
And
would
don't say Tim
be.
Petitius just because he's watching.
Yeah.
Let's not give him that.
That would be interesting.
Oh no.
Oh geez, I don't know. You caught me off guard. Somebody that I haven't yet, but I would like to. I guess somebody more graphic. Suggest somebody. Give me a suggestion, and I'll write it down as a goal.
You know what? A crossover, two different prints. You and Tim Petitius. You draw, he paints. He draws, you paint. Just because I'm interviewing him tomorrow and he's in the chat, so I'm really giving him a hard time.
Right.
That's the first one that came to me.
Hey Tim, how are you?
Hey Tim. So, okay, someone's asked like 12 times about a Myers closet thing. I don't know what that is.
Yeah, that is probably my most popular screen prints that I did for Mondo. It was I had an opportunity to do an official alternative poster for Halloween, so I pitched doing Michael Myers busting into the closet when Jamie Lee Curtis is kind of cowering, at the foot of the closet. So that one was quite popular. It was used for a screening at MondoCon a few years ago.
Okay.
And I since then I did a kind of an answer piece to that poster where it's from Michael's point of view looking down at Laurie, and she's got the knife that he drops, and she's holding it towards him. So it has the exact same composition as the Myers piece, but it's flipped upside down. So his poster is you're looking up towards him because it's a worm's eye, and then hers is flipped. It's a bird's eye view. And it's got the same color palette and the same text placement and everything. Did they have a specific question about that poster? Or
they just want you to re-release it.
Oh, I wish I could. Yeah, I don't re-release limited edition posters, but I wish I could.
Yeah. So there you go, Tim. I apologize. It's not happening. So here's some things. We've been showing off Jason's social media stuff, his information, Jason Edmiston Art on Instagram and also on Facebook. Facebook, Jason.Edmiston's art book on Facebook. And obviously they could check you out, see some of the stuff you're doing. You have that book that was released in 2016, which was a big deal. Visceral.
Yeah. The art of me, the art of Jason.
The art of me.
Visceral. If you just search Visceral on Amazon, you'll see it. It's basically my career up to the point of that book being released, I guess 2015 or 16,
Right.
and it includes all the major points in my career. It has a little bit of my beginning stages, working in
In
editorial
advertising
and
and stuff.
advertising, that sort
Yeah.
of thing. It's even got a couple of childhood sketches in there, but mainly it deals mostly with the last 10 or 12 years of my career, the pop culture art, the toy packaging, movie
Right.
posters, vinyl albums, pop culture portraits. And it's got a bunch of sections in there of tutorials, how I paint from start to finish, and also how I separate movie posters to be screen printed.
I was
So
going to say, because like that's an interesting process that most people wouldn't like normally just think about, is that like you have
mhm.
to separate colors.
Yeah. I mean, some screen printed posters are created digitally in layers. I won't give you
Mhm.
too much of a boring description of it, but basically, if you're creating a poster in Photoshop and you have multiple layers, you can put all the yellow art on one layer and then the red and the blue and the green and then stack them, and then you have
Right.
the black on top, and that's the trapping lines, and then they print the poster one color at a time, and then usually black or a darker color goes on last, and that kind of traps it like a coloring book, right? Or a
Right.
stained glass window. um, but I invented a method of, well, kind of modified a method of separating posters where you can actually take a flattened piece of art that's full color or even black and white, and you can pull it apart and make separate layers of those colors to then be able to print it like a screen printed poster,
Right.
one color at a time. It's a little bit of sampling color areas and a little bit of
Right.
kind of filling in the missing data in between.
Yeah,
Like,
because there's so much. I'm not, by the way, for everyone out there, I'm not an artist. I just appreciate art, but I mess around with Photoshop and I try that
mhm.
color separation thing. Like I try it with the sampling. Yeah,
Yeah, yeah.
it does not work as easy as you think it would.
No, it's not easy. It takes as much time to separate a poster sometimes as it does to make the
Yeah.
poster. I've done just separation jobs before for different companies. I did Jaws and Apocalypse Now, and I just recently did for a private commission with the Frazetta estate. I did the separations for an upcoming From Dusk Till Dawn poster that Frank Frazetta had
Right.
illustrated, and it was kind of an unused poster for that movie. Um, so I took the flat art from the Frazetta estate and I was able to separate it so it could be screen printed. And I also did a different version that wasn't just the art print of the movie
Right.
poster, but I designed the text for it, and kind of there was a posthumous a collaboration with Frank Frazetta, which is one of my big heroes. So I mean, that was an honor.
Which, by the way, me and Rob, super producer Rob, took a trip to the Frank Frazetta Museum in
Oh
Pennsylvania.
wow,
If you come down here and you haven't been there, you have to go. Those
yes,
are they're our family now.
yes.
Because
No, I
we do a
I
lot of
have to
work
do
there.
that. I want to see those in
Frank,
person. I've seen a few
yeah,
sketches in person, and it always amazes me. I've never seen the big paintings. Like I'd love to see Death Dealer or Lost Kingdom or any of those.
you have to go. You
Okay,
have
all right.
to go.
It's on my short
I'm
list.
I'm making a demand of you. All right. So now everyone, let's see. Everyone needs to see it. Everyone needs to see who the winner is. Let's give it. Let's give a round of applause. A round of applause to who's winning. Bring it up on screen, Rob. Judy Chan, you have won
Yay!
the. Yay, Judy Chan! Congratulations. You have won the.
Congratulations, Judy.
First, screenshot this, Judy, and send a screenshot to social@sideshow.com. And what you won, Rob, bring it up, is the Butcher Printer Proof. The Butcher Printer Proof
Nice.
by Jason Edmiston.
Congratulations.
And give us your name, address, phone number, and we'll get that out to you as soon as possible. Thank you, Judy.
Thank you, Judy.
Jason, this is it. We're wrapping this up. So now anything you need to get out of your system, this is the way to get it out of your system. Tell me everything that's amazing about me. No. Plugs, promos, conventions. Do you have
Yeah,
anything coming up?
yeah. I have that poster coming out soon from Sideshow. Hopefully.
Yeah.
I'm not quite sure of the release schedule for posters once art is finished, but I'm also going to be appearing at Designer Con in Anaheim in November.
I will see you there, bud.
Oh, awesome! Are you
I'm
floating
flying
around? Do you
out
have a
from New
booth,
York.
or will you be exhibiting?
Well, me personally, I'm going out to just because I'm a designer toy addict. So I'm
Ah,
flying out there from New
awesome.
York to go out there. So, but
Yeah,
we'll
yeah.
see.
Please,
Once I'm
please come
there,
by.
Sideshow will call me up and be like, we have something for you to do. And I'm like, all right.
Yeah, absolutely. Come by the booth. I don't know the number or anything, but I should be
Yeah.
exhibiting next to another Sideshow artist that you should probably hire again soon, Matt Ryan Tobin, who's a good friend of mine from Toronto. We are going to be booth mates. And I know he did some horror art for you guys a little while ago as well. Some
we love our horror stuff.
Friday the 13th and Nightmare on Elm Street stuff. But yeah, great artist.
I'm currently,
so
by
I'll
the
be
way,
exhibiting it and some original art. So yeah, please drop by. I think it's a 3-day show.
Looking it up. Your booth is going to be 1319.
1319. There you go.
1319. So anyone who's going to be in Anaheim for DesignerCon, visit Jason at booth 1319.
Please do.
That is awesome.
Yeah, and other than that, just Instagram is probably the best place. Just Jason Edmiston Art on Instagram, and I announce everything there. I announce all my appearances, all my new art, my progress. Just pretty much everything new is on there, and there's links to my store and my site and all that stuff, all that fun stuff.
Beautiful. Well, thank you for spending this time. A lot of excited people because we've got all these horror fans, all these Jason Edmiston fans, art fans. Thank you for spending your time with us. Now we got to let you get back to get back to the Joker so we can get that in our hands. We're getting a little hungry. So
got to get right back to it. It's on my board right now. So got to jump right back on that. Perfect. Thank you very much, Alex. I appreciate the time.
No problem, everyone. Make sure, like I said before, you're registered, you're hanging out, you're having fun, you're tuning in, you're commenting, subscribing. Thank you, Jason, again, and everybody out there. Don't forget to let your geek side show. See you later. That was awesome.
Thanks, guys.